Good morning, top shaggers. Although it's probably evening where you are. Welcome back to the channel. I'm back out in the woods. I'm out solo. I'm out on a little hammock camp today. And I've brought my new hammock out, which is pretty much the same as my old hammock, but a little bit bigger. It's the DD Frontline king size. And it's a bit of a beast. So I've only stayed out in it twice before. This is my third time. I'm gonna talk you through it a little bit. Cook up some good food as always. Knock up a pot hanger because I've got the Dutch oven with me as well. So it should be a good little camp. Let's go. When it comes to hammocks then, everyone's kind of got their own way of doing it. This is just how I do it. I lay it on the floor in between the two trees. When it's dry, if it's wet, I'll keep hold of it and tie one knot first. Yeah, about eye level. And then you don't just want to go round the back of the tree and tie it because it will just slip down. You need to come round the back and back to the front, and if you've got enough, go to the back and make your knot there. As long as you wrap it around the tree more than once, really. It also depends how high you like having your hammock. Some people like having it quite high that they've got to get on their tippy toes to get into, so when they get in and the weight takes up the natural slack, it's at a decent height. Some people like to have it real low slung, so their bum's just above the floor when they're in it. I like somewhere in between, which is about a good sitting height. Obviously you need to set it up a little bit high before you get into it because your weight's going to take up the slack, as I said. That way if you've got your Bergen next to you, you can be laying in your hammock and still access everything. That's the only reason I like this height particularly. A lot of people that write off hammock camping because they try it once, didn't have a good night. Please don't write it off. It does depend on how high you have it. If you had it taut and high, didn't get on with it, try it a bit looser. Some people get on with it, some people don't. There's not a proper way to set a hammock up. As long as it don't slide down the trees, it's whatever works for you, so don't rule it out. I find it the comfiest way to sleep in the woods other than a stretcher bed. So if you've got built a bed, you know, that stretcher bed's got this natural sag, the material is beautiful. But hammock comes a close second for sure, and you don't have to build it. Put the spreader bars in. There's some creaky trees around here. It's quite breezy today, but the sun is out. I've not checked the weather or anything. I've still got a tarp, always prepared. So that spreader bar really gives you the lift on the mozzie net, and once it's tied up, it's a beaut. And being a DD, they come with a pocket, which is fastened with Velcro for your mat, inflatable mat, foam mat, whatever you want. I tend to find the foam mats are enough. Some people love the under blankets. Personally, I've never used one, so I can't even comment on them. I'm sure they're brilliant, but I've never needed one, not even in the winter. Because I use a bivvy bag normally. I haven't today because it's summer. I just don't need it. We've got the bug net. The sleeping bag's enough. Anyway. And then I normally just chuck some warm kit on, so I've never actually used them. But people love them. Maybe I'll try one in the winter or something. So that's the mat in. There's so much room in this hammock as well, it's wicked. Alright, let's get the sleeping bag. Got matching camo on the sleeping bag. Look, I don't take a lot of pride in a lot of things, if I'm honest with myself, and I'm honest with you guys. But my camping setup and all that is definitely one of them. So, yeah. And this bag's got a foot box on it as well. It's the Jura 2. Really good bag. I've been using it since the spring. And I've had some cold nights in it. It's been mint. It's designed so if you're cold, you can get straight out the hammock onto the floor. Still stood in your DOS bag, jumping around like a party goer's bottom jaw. And then I'm running a cushion, which normally lives in the van. Got that off my little brother. And this Thermarest compressible pillow. Certainly does stop being so compressible over the months, but hey ho, doubled up, that's lovely. Just thinking, you know, I might risk it for a chocolate biscuit and just not put a tarp up and hope for the best. I'll just leave it in the top of my Bergen, so if it does rain I can just get out the hammock and hastily throw it over, and at least that'll keep me dry. Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Also as well, if you're one of them lanky lads, well really, if you're any taller than my sort of height, which is like 5'7", you might struggle for space in a hammock. That's another thing that people gripe about. King size, mate. I just have more space in there, so I slide less anyway. I'm a bit more flat before the ends kick up. And especially for you taller lads, like even if you set the normal size hammocks up tight, I know you're still too long for them, so I do understand that. Try out a big one, because it might just be the size of them that you're not getting on with. And this is kind of designed for the taller person. When I go out camping with Catherine, she likes to go out in the hammock, and sometimes I want to be in the hammock as well, but we've only got one hammock. Now we've got two, so we can both go out in a hammock. So this will basically become Catherine's, so she can cocoon herself up in it and have all the room in the world, really. I've only camped down at this spot once before, and that wasn't exactly where I am, just this section of woodland. But on one side, you've got all your sycamores, hazels, oak, silver birch, and then on the other side, it kind of meets another section of woodland right here, and most of that is pine, and the deadfall is endless. All of it's dry, most of it's still leaning up in the trees, so harvesting our firewood today is not going to be an issue. It's also going to be a take your pick between fatwood, birch bark, or ferns. Cheers, mate. On the faith. And relax. Do you know, that's one of the best things about wild camping for me. When you're on your own, no matter what you've got going on in your life, and regular viewers will know this, but anyone new watching that needs to hear this, when you go camping, whatever is going on in your life, good or bad, but I'm specifically talking about the bad bits here, you can leave it at the car, go and do your camp, clear that mind, don't think about it. It's a time to unwind and just chill with nature and fully relax into it. And I don't want to sound all weird and that, but it's true. And anyone that goes out and does this will know what I'm talking about, because we all get the same feelings of just like a big exhale, you know. There's an old bushcraft camp over here, look. It's a bit gone now, the walls have fallen down. That one's still stood a little bit, but both of these sides are fully flattened. Bad drills on the fire pit though. Pretty much just looks like it was left when it was still lit. But it doesn't look like anyone's been here for quite a while. Most of the wood's a bit rotten now and punky, and still. I do forget as well sometimes, because I always say that this isn't really like an educational channel. These are just like clips, videos of what I'm doing, my adventures, and you know, just chatting to you guys and showing you what I'm up to and all that. But really, I know a lot of you, I just subconsciously brush over all the things that I know that I could possibly tell you, because I just forget sometimes. I'm out here doing my thing, and you know, I forget that I could probably be a little bit more educational, like dropping little tips and hints and that here and there. I'll never go like full sort of teachy mode, but maybe I'll start dropping in a few more things, like if I'm setting up, what I'm thinking about, why I'm doing it, that sort of thing, just to try and get you guys a little bit more involved rather than just trying to pick bits up through watching. Do you know what it is? I just never want to come across like I think like I know it all, because I really don't. Far from it, I'm always learning, but equally I'm not trying to be 100% like purist bushcrafter, because I don't live like that. I don't want to live like that, and you know, it's cool to know the skills and that, but a lot of it doesn't actually interest me that much as other things do. And I kind of just do the things that I like to enjoy, you know. I'm not here trying to be anybody, I'm just out here being me. I'm going to make some sort of holder as well for the Dutch oven. I might just go with the traditional Y at each end, straight bar and a hanging piece with a little notch in it for it to hang on. I don't think I've got the cordage with me to make a tripod and hang it. Yeah, we'll do it the bushcraft way. Bosh, right, let's collect some wood. How's it going, my dude? Off so soon? And into the pine playground that has all of your building material needs. Right then, I've been out and collected my wood for the little kitchen. We've got two Ys there, one made out of silver birch, which is dead, one made out of birch as well, which is dead. And then we've got the hazel piece that will hang on the cross member. Now the cross member and the hazel piece, well, they're both hazel, they're both greenwood, so I cut them living. But it doesn't kill the hazel, because obviously if you use dead wood and there's flames and you're hanging that on there with a notch which is hanging your pot underneath, it's going to set on fire, isn't it? And you don't want that. So unfortunately in bushcraft sometimes you have to use green wood, but you can help yourself. Damage limitation, on what trees you use. Hazel's great anyway because it's normally quite straight. Bushcrafters love hazel. I'm going to chamfer it all up and all that, clean it up. And it just helps the hazel grow anyway. You're basically just coppicing it and it helps new shoots grow and form, so you're not killing the tree. Careful what you do cut green though, because you know, we don't want to be going around cutting live trees all the time, but certain things like hazel, they're okay in bushcraft. And if you've got a problem with it, don't come at me, come at the whole community, because everyone uses it and it's been going on since man found lightning made fire, I presume. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to clean these up and just chamfer them before I knock them in. It helps stop to split the wood, and also it's just a nicer finish. If you're going for that aesthetic look, good habit, you know, take a bit of pride in it. I don't always, most of the time I can't be bothered, but I'm just here chilling on a solo today, so I can. I've got nothing else to do, nowhere else to be. Right, it's a little bit wobbly, this old dead pine, but let's see if it's alright enough to just put some points on these. I've de-stoned it, I've cut all the roots out, I've dug down, it's bare earth, nothing around here is going to catch fire. Everyone likes good old birch bark, however, if you've got no birch, but you've got hazel, hazel bark does very much the same as birch, where when it dies and gets sun-baked, it starts to peel. So I've got a little pile of that, a couple of piles of pine and Dougie fir. So the two Ys and the crossbar are in, and then over here we've got the Dutchie with the knuckle. That fits in there nice. And then that just hangs on there. A lot of you will have seen this before, you'll know all about this, but for those that don't, there you go. Easy little kitchen setup. Obviously you can't adjust the height on these, but if you was at a more permanent camp, what people like to do is just make different size ones, and then you just leave them on the crossbar. There's normally 2 or 3 different sizes, they'll just be a bit longer and a bit longer. But there you go, that'll do. I'll just build the fire around that, so whatever heat I need, the flame just licking the bottom of the Dutchie. That's normally a good place to start. Bosh! Shall we have a go at lighting this fire then? Because time's ticking on. It's past kick-out time at work now. If anyone was going to be walking the dog, they probably would have been doing it within the last half an hour, hour. At least that's my thought process. I'm parked in like it's just like one of them forest lay-bys that you can fit like 4 or 5 cars in. It's not that busy. People go down there and have a flipping Swifty one now and again, but other to that, the woods are always pretty quiet at night. People tend to get more anxious when the sun goes down, but it's actually the safest time in the woods because you just know that nobody's about. Why would anyone have any business going around the woods at night? Other than geocaching or doing a bit of night naving or something, but pretty happy with the kitchen setup. Bog standard. That's a Bushcraft basic, that is. 2 Ys and a straight. Obviously, you can just put a bit of cordage down to a pot if you want, but it's definitely safer to do it with a knuckle, because then you don't run the risk of burning your cordage and then dropping your food everywhere, and you don't want that, do you? Nice easy one. I put a little bit of fat wood in there as well, just to accelerate things a bit. Found on lower pine trees, on the lower branches, the dead branches, it's often trapped and it looks like amber and it smells delicious. Once you master the ferro rod, you can't really get it wrong, to be honest, especially if you're near a pine forest. I mean, anywhere really. Make a feather stick, use a ferro rod, can't go wrong. It's pretty basic bushcraft. It's just getting that tinder fine enough. It's easy to get a little bit cocky and think, oh, I can get away with that, and then it just doesn't go. You're better off putting the time in, bit of effort. You know the old saying, failing to prepare is preparing to fail and all that. If you're not from round East Anglia, the people in Norfolk and Suffolk are generally sound. because we all live out in the country, it's not strange to people out in the country to see people in the woods and having a fire and that, you know. There's not too many people that would ring up and dob on you. You know, I know it's wrong, but is it wrong? Is it that wrong? You know, you could be doing worse things, couldn't you? Flipping heck. If you're respecting the land and that, I think it's sound. I don't see why so many people have such a bee in their bonnet about it. They all follow the rules and just constantly and don't think for themselves. Whereas I live in a world where I try and think for myself. Not everything's always legal, or, you know, I'm not a bad person. I don't steal, I don't do anyone over, you know, I'm not like that. I'm a good person. But I don't know. People like to just have an issue, don't they? I don't want to go and encourage every man and his dog to go and, you know, start fires in the woods and that. Obviously I know that there'd be anarchy, but I also know a lot of people watching either live in a city or do this sort of thing through these sort of channels, you know. There's only a handful of you that would probably actually go out and do this after seeing this sort of thing. I don't know, you tell me. How many viewers actually come out and do this? It'd be quite nice to gauge it, actually. If you want to help the channel, help my engagement, let's start a comment chat. How's everyone doing? Put it in the comments. How's your week been? And everyone else can get involved in other people's comments. And everyone that leaves a comment that tells me how they've been, I'll reply to you. I know I'm a bit busy, you know, a lot of the time, and I read all the comments, but I can't always reply, or, you know, I'll try and give it a heart and that. YouTube's a funny one. Like, when you first start making videos, this is to anyone out there that's thinking of starting, it can soon take over your life, you know. You start to see a bit of channel growth and people engaging and all that, and it's easy to get sucked in. It becomes a bit of a drug in some respect. You need your fix and that, you know. But I'm past all that now. If I'm not feeling like filming, I don't film. If I don't want to edit, I don't edit. That's why I don't put a video out consistently every week anymore, because I've started putting my real life first, to an extent. You know, I work 48 hours a week, and filming and editing and looking after the channel and the Instagram page and all that, that probably takes at least another 40 hours a week if you combine it all as well. So I am a busy dude, and it's hard to keep up with it when you want to go see people or do anything outside of this. So some weeks there's no content because I'm doing other things, and things that I could even think about recording, but I don't want to put it on the channel because it's not camping or wild camping based. Because it turns out it's not just this that I enjoy with the camera. I like filming anything with a camera. I like filming anything now. Maybe I should start a second channel. Oh God, no, don't go down don't go down that rabbit hole, mate. I'll never be through them. But I do like filming all sorts of videos. But as I've said in the London video, I don't want to take the content too far away from the bushcraft and the wild camping on this channel, because that's what it's all about. So I want to keep it to that. Anyway, I'm just blying on now. Time for a bevy, I reckon. Fire's going good, I can let that chill for a bit. And as I said at the start of the video, this video has been sponsored by HelloFresh, so thank you very much. HelloFresh is basically an ingredient meal delivery service that delivers fresh vegetables and meat at your door with recipe cards with a simple step-by-step instruction guide for you to follow. It's easy when you live a busy life to either not go shopping, or you can't be asked to go shopping, or you just run out of food recipe ideas. HelloFresh is something that I've bought for 3 years before they ever reached out to sponsor the channel, so I grabbed that with both hands because it's good for camping as well. And you can keep the recipe cards for later as well. It's simple, you literally make an account, go online, there's loads of recipes to choose from, and you select how many people you want the meals for, and you're basically ordering 3 meals. And it's got ice packs in the cardboard box that keep all your ingredients cool. If you're at work or something, they can literally leave it on the door and it will be there ready for you for when you get home. We've done loads of different meals, and as I say, the menu is massive. You're going to see the meal in a minute anyway. So I've got a code on screen now, and you can follow that, click on the link or scan the QR code, and you'll get a nice little deal. I'm probably going to end up taking a lot of this dinner home. It's genuinely not just the woods that I use these. Me and Catherine do eat these boxes at home. And because I like a slightly larger portion size than what's considered normal, I always order the meals for 3 people. So it just means I've got loads of food. But hey, that's just me. Can you eat raw paneer? And there you are, sticky mango paneer noodles with some onion and coriander. You don't have to have paneer cheese, you can have chicken breast, but Catherine's vegetarian. I like to order the veggie ones, and they just put a substitute in there. So paneer's a cheese that veggies use, I guess. Time for a little bit of pudding. Anyone had these before? The salted caramel goo cheesecakes. They're banging. They are banging, mate. I'm not lying. Come on then, let's have a bit of that. You don't get a lot though because they're so sweet, so rich, but they're flipping tasty as. See, when you're lying in it as well, naturally you'd probably want to have your head slightly higher than your feet, wouldn't you? But when it comes to hammock camping, I prefer it when my feet are slightly higher than my head. Not enough to make the blood rush to your head, but just enough to stop you sliding down all night. Because you know what it's like, you put your pillow up the top, if you're slightly inclined, you wake up in the middle of the night and you're like in the middle of the hammock and your feet are all the way up that end. So yeah, I like to set it up slightly higher foot end, stops you sliding, and that is comfy. Another myth that people like to think is you can't side sleep in a hammock. Well, you can. You just put your feet on one side, your body on the other, so you go diagonally across it. And I sleep like that quite a lot, and you don't flip out. So I'm not normally one to sit there and carve for an evening, but I've just started working on this little spoon. I'll probably end up finishing that at home, to be honest. But just wanted to show you my carving kit. I've got all the main essentials, and this one is by Bushcraft, and they're a really good company. The cool thing about these lot is they're from Ukraine. They've had to relocate obviously somewhere because of the war and all that. But on their website they've got loads of templates that you can use to stick on things if you want to print them off or anything. There's loads of carving lessons on there and all that. And their tools are fantastic. Got some walnut handles. This is the go-to carving knife. Great bits of kit. I think this is like the higher premium version, but you just get better leather and a nicer handle and all that. But all their tools are wicked. If you haven't heard of Bushcraft, you should go check them out. They've got some nice tools on the website, some nice knives, some nice axes and all that. I'm walking around camp, other than a little bit of road noise over there. It's absolutely silent out here. God, you know what? I was staring at them goo pots like late afternoon, early evening, but I just had my mum, even at 31 years old, ringing in my ears, "You'll spoil your tea, Pat, you'll spoil your tea." Because I've got a northern family. Southerners, that means you'll ruin your dinner. It's starting to get a little bit darker now. Well, here's some riveting content for you. I'm in my hammock and I don't even think it's 9 o'clock yet. I think it's about 10 to 9. But look at all the space I've got in here, honestly. Obviously the sleeping bag's not done up or out because it's a bit warm. But like, I'm pretty much, well, I'm not even up the head end. Look, if I move up the head end, look at all the extra length you get in here. And if you've got a bit of meat on your bones, this can go really wide. Fire's just ticking over. There's no need to keep adding wood to that now. I've done my cooking and all that. It's not keeping me warm or anything, so I'm just going to let that chill, do its thing. I'll keep an eye on it because I don't plan on going to bed just yet. I'm just going to sit and chill in the hammock. And yes, that is a packet of Cadbury's fingers behind me as well. I'm not ready for them. I don't even think I'm going to eat them, to be honest. I am proper stuffed from tea. But they're there in an emergency. Listen to this. What do you reckon that is? That's got to be a buzzard. It's not an owl, is it? Got to be buzzard or kite, surely. Someone help me out, please. Right then, that's me, gang. I'm off to sleep. I'm like a nodding dog laying in this hammock. It's not even dark yet, man. It's like 9:30, but I'm a goner. And I'll see you in the morning. Have a good one. Good morning. It's about 7:30, and taking the risk without the tarp was well worth it because it didn't rain at all in the night. A little bit chilly this morning, but I was just in a t-shirt and I had my sleeping bag open most of the night. But I went back to bed for an hour or so. It's nice out in the woods. It's one of my favourite things where you wake up. I know it's still fairly early and you just go back to bed for a bit. It's bloody lovely. Right, I'm going to get me Swede together and get out this swinging sock thing. I won't be lighting the fire again this morning. It has been left all night, but I'm going to douse it anyway because it's good drills. And obviously, leave no trace is leave no trace, isn't it? It's not just pull the mud back over. We'll try and blend it all back in so it looks like you were never here. Which is pretty easy to do in this sort of forest because there's loads of leaf litter everywhere. Birds sound lovely this morning. That is me. I'm all packed up. I've just got this Thermarest mat to put away. Once that's done, I'll be walking out of it and I'm going to go and get some breakfast at home. So thank you very much for watching. Appreciate you all. Those of you that have stuck around for a while now, big ups to you. Anyone new here, thank you for joining. It's been a pleasure. On to the next one. See you there.